Virginia High Bearcat basketball will be on the air in 5 minutes. Minutes. Two minutes until airtime. Sixty seconds. Thirty seconds till Bearcat basketball. Fifteen seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time for Bearcat basketball from the radio home of Virginia High Athletics. You're listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Show on Bearcat Radio. Good afternoon and welcome to the Bearcat Radio's exclusive coverage of the 2017 Coach Ballard Lee Bearcat Invitational from Virginia High School in Bristol. It's time for the semifinals as the Bearcats take on the very talented Honaker Tigers squad. Dylan Hutton along with Mark Carr as we get ready to see which team will move on to face the winner of John Battle and Lebanon in the next game in the championship tomorrow night at 8:30. Welcome to the Bearcat Tip-Off Show, and Mark joining me here from the sidelines tonight. The opponent comes in the form of a very potent Honaker offense that can score from anywhere. How does that affect the Bearcat defense tonight?
Well, Dylan, I think last night the key for the Bearcats was their pressure and the ability to turn the ball over. And again, I think it's going to have to be the case again tonight. Honaker is a spot-up, shoot-'em team. I think you have to knock them off their balance and make them drive the paint with you. Yeah,
so the Cats with a big win over Patrick Henry last night. We'll recap that game in just a second. Honaker on the other side with a 92-83 win over University High. That's how both teams got here. So, Mark, do you expect the pressure tonight from the Cats that we saw from last night?
Dylan, like I said, I think that was the bread and butter last night. I think that was the difference maker. You didn't see that much in the Gate City game. Not the Gate City, the Abingdon game. But I think whenever that implemented, I think the defense took a big turn, and it also helped the chemistry of this team. I think it's big for them to get out, have the pressure on early, and keep it implemented throughout the course of the game.
I think we'll figure out a lot about the way this game, how it's going to go within the first 3 or 4 minutes of this one. So, again, bringing it to you right here on Bearcat Radio. Last night, 5 different Cats scored 10 or more points. The balance was there. Where do they go early in the game? You had Gavin Austin last night score the team's first 8 points. What do you expect tonight?
I think Gavin Austin, like I said last night, he's definitely one of the people that keeps his team together. Him, Ben Inman, both did a great job last night putting points on the board. But also Bobby Medley. He also came up and had a really big game for the Cats last night. Being in double figures, you had 5 Cats in double figures. You have to have that balance against a team that's going to put up the points like Honaker will.
This is a team that was hitting from the outside as well last night. The Cats hit 9 threes in their win over Patrick Henry. So expect that, hopefully, to have another big night there from behind the arc.
And, you have to have that with the way Honaker likes to shoot it as well.
And, again, like I said, the post presence, Bobby Medley, we'll see if it's there again tonight. And, Mark, let's talk about it real quick. Impact matchup, where do you see it on the court? And what Honaker player should we keep an eye out for?
Honaker player, I think you got to go with Boyd. He's the junior guard. Last night he was electric. I feel like he helped hit. Yeah, he's averaging 10.8 points per game. Last night it felt like every time he put up a shot it went in. Another matchup is I feel like the guard play as a whole is going to be big. The backcourt for this, the defense breaking up the pressure on the perimeter, keeping them off the line there.
The win last night was head coach Brandon Miller in his first year. That was his first career win as a head coach, and this is a very talented team. They're the favorite to win the Black Diamond District. They went 24-5 last year, reached the VHSL state quarterfinals a year ago. So they're a really good basketball team. Sample, Hilton, and Boyd were all first-team Crooked Road Conference for the Tigers. So watch out for those guys. That's 2 seniors and a junior. And Brett Boyd, of course, the three-point threat Mark was talking about just a second ago. Brandon Sample last year averaged 12.5 a game. And also with Boyd at 10.8 a game. Sample 12.5 to go with that. Stinson, watch out for him, a senior point guard, 11.4 average with 8.3 assists per game in 2016. Also a freshman, Grayson Honaker, well known in the AAU circuit, so watch out for him. He'll get some playing time tonight. So definitely a lot of talent on this Honaker team, and it's going to be a good measuring stick for this Bearcat team who was shooting the lights out last night.
And like I said, Dylan, I think you got to do that just to keep in the game tonight. Give yourself a chance.
So we'll see if the lights are going to be shot out of the place like we had last night almost. I know it's the 5th game of the season, but, Mark, it does seem like this is a very important game for the progress of Virginia High and these players. Last night you had the hard-fought win over PH, a hard-fought loss there against Grayson County a week ago. It was really a closer game than it appeared. It was a 20-point game in the end, but this time they're playing against a strong Honaker team. This has the makings of a prove-it game that could set the tone for at least the rest of this winter break period.
You know, and you hear people talking about how good Honaker is, but if Virginia High comes away with it, guess who they're talking about after that? This team's very young. They're still building the chemistry like we mentioned before. And anytime you win a measuring stick game, it helps you a lot later on the development department, that's for sure.
And Coach said last night, Coach Raznick said, we saw him down in the hospitality room, said that was their best game so far by far. So let's try to build off that too.
Yeah, the energy for this team was electric last night, and I think it, like I said in turn, I feel like it came from the pressure side of the ball. I think you keep up the pressure, keep up the intensity, and things will start falling your way.
Tonight's game is brought to you by State Line Motors on Euclid Avenue in Bristol, also BSN Sports in Bristol. So we thank them for being our sponsors. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the last game recap for the Cats. It was that big win over Patrick Henry, 77-56. 9 3-pointers, as I said earlier. The Bearcats broke away late in the third period. They finished the third on a 12-2 run, scored 20 points in the final quarter of the ball game, and it was their first game of the year where they've scored more than 51 points. Again, the 5 players that reached double-digit points, Inman, Medley, and Austin all had 14, Clifton with 11, and Johnston with 10. That was the first win for Virginia High on the year, and the first one for Coach Raznick since his return from retirement. And like we said, for that young group to get a little bit of momentum going into this season, that was definitely a big building block there to get to the second round of this tournament, still with a chance to win the championship. But this is a totally different beast tonight, and we'll see how that goes. Some of the results from last night when we left the air last night, we had one more game, Lebanon and Rye Cove. Lebanon came away with a 56-44 win over Rye Cove. They will play John Battle after our game is over at 8:30 p.m. Lebanon versus John Battle. Some other scores from today. Patrick Henry lost to University High in the 4 o'clock game, 80-52. Hampton beat Rye Cove by close to 25 points. So Hampton will move on to play University High for the 5th place game tomorrow at 5:30. And Rye Cove will face Patrick Henry tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the 7th place game. So that's the rest of the schedule. But again, the winner of this one will face Lebanon or John Battle, and the loser will face the loser of that game as well. So pretty cut and dry from here. You got a chance at least to finish in 3rd place where you're at in the bracket. So regardless of the outcome tonight, you really got a good shot of carrying some momentum in.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, like I said, you have 3 days to get some momentum under your belt before you get out of this tournament. I think that's huge. The win last night was big for us to get one under our belt. Raznick his first from being back. And I think, you could come away with another one tonight, put yourself in on the home floor with a W for first place. Don't think about 3rd place when 1st place is still on the line, Dylan.
The Honaker Tigers are 1-0 on the season. Let's take a look at their roster all the way through. Number 3, Brandon Sample is a senior, 5'10". Then Brett Boyd, he'll be wearing number 4, junior, 5'9". Then Grayson Honaker, freshman, 6'1". Hartley Hilton, a senior, 6'1". Ethan Farmer, senior, 5'11". Blake Stinson, senior, 5'11". Then 2 sophomores, Luke Goody and Corey Keene, 6'5" and 6'3" apiece there. And Cotton Compton, a freshman, 5'10". That's the roster for the Honaker Tigers. So a lot of depth and some seniors on that roster. 4 seniors littered throughout it. And again, they're coming off a near 100-point performance there against University High in a really close game. University High very well could be here tonight. The way they played last night and today, they played really well in the tournament.
Yeah, but like I mentioned, just Honaker's ability to shoot the three ball was the difference last night. University High, everything they threw at them, Honaker was able to find a way to shoot a 3, and it went right in. And that's very frustrating for the defensive side of the ball. Last night, PH ran a lot of the 2-3 defense. We'll see what Honaker has to come in tonight and what offense Virginia High brings to the table.
We have starting lineups coming up. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back for the opening tip and the national anthem from the Bearcat Den right after this message.
Bearcat Radio is brought to you by State Line Motors. Visit State Line Motors on Euclid Avenue in Bristol.
I'm the